So I've got an assistant to help. The points on this thing are nice and shiny, which has me a little worried. My heart kind of sunk in that I wasn't sure if those were going to be used or new, because that's where the guy said it wasn't working, and that's also kind of new. So that was what was not making this thing run, but we will see. I don't have the right spark plug wrench. It's larger than ones I have. The tank is clean. Got a few wires I need to clean up the harnesses, kind of like the connectors and the blade up front, the mower, and with the mower there's a little bit of rusting here that I do need to cover with a welder so it's safe. I'm making sure all the belts work, the attachments work. A little surprise and a break from the tree. We're gonna have fun learning a new skill, see if I can use what I've seen on the internet and my understanding of things. I don't know if I've ever posted it, but I had one of these bikes 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, and it was orange. You may have seen some photos, and I think I mentioned in the background as a project. Well, trouble was I went through the wiring. I don't know if it's a trip angle sensor, but something amidst the electronics was just not working right. So I gave up on that bike, called it quits, called my losses. I don't think I lost any money, just a bunch of time learning. So then I came across this ad, and the price was even better. Now it's not rideable, whereas the other one was going to be rideable, and that this one's been squished front to back. But there's a reason. I wanted the heart and soul out of this bike, nothing more. So I'm taking the engine out. I suppose the transmission as well, because that's still good. But everything else I'm basically just scrapping. So I need to get to the fuel tank, because the fuel that's in there has been over a year old, and I don't know if I have it on video on my phone, but I'll see if I can impose it. This is the 5th attempt, and it took on the 5th attempt. I got this tick. Sounds like in here. I think it's a valve, I'm not sure. That was the video of this thing running about a month ago, but the fuel still hasn't been stabilized because I don't have the key, and I took off the bolts, and they were smart. So if you're running around trying to steal some fuel, you can't without the key, because you can pull the bolts, but as long as the latch is closed, you can't open it out of the opening. So I'm going to try and pick the lock, which is a long story short of why we had a reveal for lock picking session. So the internet says I need a different tool. This is for house locks and padlocks and such. It's a little colder now. I realized I was going about it all wrong. I literally had a what kind of moment, because I just decided to rake the thing, and about 5 seconds later it opened. Now this has also been, I think, about 10-15 minutes later of me fiddling around with about 4 different picks. James Yeager showed me this stuff. So Pri-G, P-R-I-G, they have 2 formulations. This is the one I went with. Maybe they even have more, but ultimately this gets rid of the ethanol harm and paste that gets left over. Keeps your fuel from going acidic and rusting parts, and essentially stabilizes that octane for you in a way. I don't know if it actually does that, but it keeps the fuel where it needs to be so that when you go to start it 2-3 years down the road, it actually works. Now, the reason why I brought this all up is your regular stabilizer, when you open the bottle, has a shelf life of 1 year, and the product only lasts about 8 to 12 months anyways. This will last years, plural, multiple. And once you open the bottle doesn't go bad. Yes, it's about 3 times the cost as regular Stabil, but 256 gallons for what this will do, even equating that to the cost of what to do that same amount with Stabil. I still prefer this for long-term storage. Now, of course, if it's just 1 year over winter, use your regular Stabil, save some money. I've been doing that for years, but in this instance, that fuel at a minimum is 1 year old. I'm guessing it's about 2.5-3 years, and just for the heartache of trying to drain it, I'm going to end up using this anyways. Long story short.